Hey you dusty woodworkers, how are you doing today? Look at this. This is a table saw. This is pretty cool. This is what we get to learn today. If you have one tool in your entire shop, you need a table saw. A table saw can do everything. Why am I excited about a table saw? Because it can do everything. I'm just going to teach you the basics today of this table saw. Why is it called a table saw? Well, that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked that. Because there's a table, and then under here is a saw. Pretty easy, right? I'm going to cut this board. This board has been flattened on a face and joined on an edge. I need this 90 degrees. It's so important. If you don't have 90 degrees, then why are you even here? You should just leave. You need 90 degrees. This likes 90 degrees. Tools in the wood shop like 90 degrees. Have 90 degrees. Like 90 degrees. It'll work out. Let us raise the blade. When you raise this blade up, you see there's a tooth. And then under that tooth is the gullet. You need the gullet slightly above the board, so it can actually cut through your board, but the teeth have a little bit of clearance so it can cool off after it cuts the board. If you bury that board in that saw blade and it just barely comes through to cut it, the saw blade can heat up and metal, it can expand and it gets a little tight. We don't like that. We're gonna cut on here. It's cool. This is gonna make a nice parallel edge to here. So if I want something exactly 2 inches wide, I can do that as long as I have a flat face and a joined edge. Do me a favor, please. Don't draw on your board. It's a pencil line. It's stupid. You need a tape measure. If you want to cut 2 inches, you come over here and you go 2 inches. You see that? You see that? That tells me it's 2 inches. I put a line on here. It may say 2 inches, but then I got a kind of line. It's stupid. Don't do it.
You are a very poor role model for these kids. You know that?
I have a guard on here. I like a guard. It keeps my fingers away from a moving saw blade. In addition to that, I have this piece of metal behind it. This is my splitter. This keeps my board in 2 separate pieces as it passes through. We like that too. The blade is the dangerous part of this. Don't touch that.
Really?
So that's why we use this. If you don't think you have enough room for your hand, we use a push stick. Oh look, these are push sticks. This is a skinny push stick for skinny pieces. This is a fat push stick for fatter pieces. I can fit my push stick in here real easy, so I'm going to use this one. I would use this one for skinnier ones. When I'm ready to cut, if you notice, there's a blade there. There's a crotch here. Those 2 things should never line up. When I'm ready to cut this board, I go like this. I take a small step over. If you notice, I'm really close. I'm gonna stand like right here next to it. What I do is, I just kind of hang out here. You know, I got my hand over here, just resting, relaxing. This hand's gonna be pushing. I just pretend I'm at a singles bar trying to pick up ladies. And I just go, hey, how you doing? I'm just leaning on the bar, enjoying my drink, pushing a piece of wood through a saw. You wanna be comfortable on this table saw. You don't wanna be all the way back here and try to push this through. It won't work. Get close to the saw, but not in front of the saw. You know, have some boundaries. Don't crowd the saw. Get over there, let it see. I'm gonna cut this with the guard up so you can see what's going on. I'm gonna use a push stick. The push stick on this side goes all the way through. This hand, my left hand, this hand just rests on the table. All it's doing is it's pushing this board in and down. That's it. Once this hand takes over, this hand's really not doing too much. My push stick is ready for when I need it. I don't need it right away. When I get too close to the blade or I'm too uncomfortable, then I'm gonna grab that guy. So, here we go. Let's try it out. look at these two pieces of wood. That one is past the saw blade. This one is not. I don't have to worry about this one. I don't have to worry about it. It's not touching the blade. There's nothing over here. It's free to do what it wants. That's the one I need to be careful of. If this one, it's stuck in between the fence and the blade. I have to be able to push it all the way through. If I don't, it could get stuck in here and get shot back. If it gets shot back, I'm in a good place because I'm not standing in front of it. If I'm standing here and pushing through it and that gets shot back, it's gonna hit my mommy and daddy parts. That is a really bad day. That's not a pain that you get over with in an hour or two. That's a pain you get over with in about a day or 3 because it's that painful. I mean, no, let's not, we're not talking about that anymore. All you have to do is push this past the blade. If it makes you happier, push it all the way through. You're not gonna hurt the board. It's a board. You don't have to worry about this one either. Woodworker tip. When you are pushing these boards through, you wanna push this one. This is the one that's stuck in between everything. You don't wanna push on this one. So, you really don't wanna be pushing at them at the same time. This one doesn't hurt if you push on it. This one will, because chances are people push into that blade. I don't want to push into the blade on the side. I want to push into the blade straight. I want to push into my fence. I want to push into my fence. Into my fence. If I do that, I get a nice straight cut. If I don't push into my fence, everything bad that you can imagine will happen.
Now, Mr. Lasiewicz, how come you don't go on the other side?
That's a very good question. The reason why we don't cut on this side, some people say, well, it's safer if you come over here. You don't have to worry about the blade over there. You don't have to worry about it getting kicked back. True, but you're stupid. If I'm over here, I am safer, but I am having a really hard time pushing into this fence. If you cut over here, chances are you're going to be pushing into the blade this way. And again, that falls in the bad things category. It's going to get pinched, it'll get kicked back, and you won't have a straight cut. If you cut over here, you have to, it's stupid. I mean, I can't push it this way very thoroughly. And when I get here, my hand is obstructing my view of the blade. I don't know where it is exactly. If I'm over here, I know exactly where that blade is. I can keep my fingers away.
But Mr. Lasiewicz, how can you see the blade if the guard's down? You don't have to.
Oh, sassy.
Look. I mean, really look. Even if the guard is down, I don't have to know where the blade is. I just know I have to have the fence here and push into the fence. There's a blade in there. It's protecting me. All I have to do is push into this fence. I push in the fence and down. Magic! Do you have to use a push stick? I would. If you're uncomfortable with this, that's what the push sticks are for. It's red for a reason. This is your table insert. It's inserted into the table, so, hard to argue with that logic. I would say, if you're in the red, use a push stick. If you're not in the red, there's probably enough room for your hand. I would always use this. It's so easy to change out. The machine's unplugged. There's one lever in here. It pops out. There is no reason to not use this when it's that easy to put on. All I have to do is I stick that down in there, lock it down, you're done. If you don't use the guard, I'm sorry, you're just that special kind of stupid.
We're not like that, Carlos. We're not like that.
You're that one wildebeest. You're that one zebra. That's the slow zebra. So when the lions come to hunt, the head zebra is going to look at the lion, they're going to make eye contact, and they're going to say, hey, the dumb one's in the back of the herd. And that's the one they get. You're going to be the dumb zebra in the herd. Use this. It's meant to protect you. If you don't, well, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to go from a high 5 to a high 4. Or like my mother-in-law, a high 4.5. Sorry, Bev. In conclusion, table saw, the best tool out there. I showed you one very simple way to cut a board. So when you're in the wood shop, use a table saw. It likes to cut straight. Also, one last thing. If you notice this board, the grain is going this way. It likes to cut the boards long. It can cut the boards this way, but you need a special jig. You need something else besides this fence. If you cut the board short this way, just with the fence, you're gonna have a bad day. The miter gauge, the sled, that's another topic for another day. Table saw, get yourself one. Thanks for watching, you dusty woodworkers, and I'll see you next time. When you raise the blade, woodworker tip. Sorry, that sounded.
Thank you.
Nobody cares. Look, stupid little potluck. And then, cut. Get your life together. Oh, I got a board, got a board, got a board, got a board.